This is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with Jon Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We're looking at the 7-game main slate on DraftKings for today. Of course, DraftKings on large slates, cutting off the late game. So if you play over on FanDuel, you'll see that you have a couple of additional games, two more games on schedule for you. You got Denver, Minnesota, OKC, Portland. For us here, late night hammer is 8 p.m. Indiana, New Orleans. Should be an interesting one there. Pelicans losing back-to-back games in Golden State to a depleted Warriors team. Game 2 was not the Lindy Waters game though, so it can feel better at least not getting torched by that guy twice in a row. We got 7 fun games here. Major injury news breaking right before James and I started recording here. We had word obviously earlier in the afternoon from Shams Charania that Paolo Banchero was going to miss Friday's game. And now we have word that he is going to miss much more than Friday's game. 4 to 6 weeks for Banchero with a torn oblique. Pretty crazy to think about given the last couple of games that he's had. He was certainly on the rise, on the ascension here. Orlando also possibly without Franz Wagner in this game due to an illness. That illness has now knocked him out of back-to-back games where he was only able to play a quarter or two before having to bow out. So it could be a pretty short-handed Orlando team going into Cleveland, which is not what you want to be going into Cleveland after they just blew out the Lakers the other night. So tough for Orlando, but tough for us basketball fans because it looked like we were going to get something special from Banchero here this year.
Yeah, and Orlando in general, right? They went out and realized that they have a very good team. They took Cleveland to 7 games in last year's kind of surprise 4-5 matchup. And then went out and were like, yeah, let's get KCP and like just really solidify our already elite defense and now space the floor. And now, we're going to be rid of that for a month and a half. So definitely sucks. And that it might even be longer because it's a reevaluation in 4 to 6 weeks. So we don't know how long Banchero is going to be out, but hopefully it's a quick recovery because, it does just suck in general when anybody gets hurt, but like stars get hurt. And you could tell the star quality with Paolo Banchero. So get well soon. Hopefully Orlando this is going to be a fun test for them because Cleveland, they lost to this team in the playoffs last year. Cleveland has a new head coach. They're firing on all cylinders. They haven't even had Max Strus for a game yet. So, tough loss for Orlando. And if they're without Franz Wagner as well in this game, they're in deep waters. Not Lindy Waters, but deep waters. 2 Lindy Water drops in the first 5 minutes of the show. Go us.
Sure. Some game totals to look at on this slate. Indiana, New Orleans, 235.5. Pelicans are getting 3 at home. We have 237.5. Sacramento, Atlanta getting 5.5. We'll see who's healthy enough to suit up for Atlanta in this.
We already know. We got all the news. They already gave us all the news.
Love it. Is it the same as it was the other day?
Same exact news. Daniels out, Bogdanovic out, Hunter out, Krejci out, Buffkin out. Yeah.
Well, good luck to them then. They got Sacramento here, 237.5 total, getting 5.5 at home. And then Charlotte, Boston. Boston's giving 11 on the road. That's a 233 total there. We got Orlando, Cleveland. Again, Orlando's getting 7, 217.5. New York, Detroit. Detroit's getting 6.5 at home, 217.5 there. Lakers, Toronto. Lakers giving 8, 228.5. Then Chicago, Brooklyn, 223.5. Brooklyn giving 2 to the Bulls.
Yeah, I mean, very hard to ignore some of these games. I mean, New Orleans, Indiana is an elite game, 235. Obviously, the Sacramento. Love that Sacramento's on the road here. That makes me feel a little bit better about Atlanta's chances of staying competitive. Would love to get to some Boston. We'll see if LaMelo Ball can keep them in this game. And but yeah, I mean, there's like 4 super elite games. Going to be a lot of value again, just considering all the injuries, and we'll help you sift through all of it because, again, there is a lot of it on the slate.
definitely a lot to talk about here. All right, let's get into this main slate. We can start off at the point guard position. We go position by position here. Trae Young, 10-2, up over 10K for Trae after coming off of a 68 fantasy point game, 35, 15, and 4. He's now had 59, 71, and 68, 3 of the 5 games to start the year. Again, it's going to be a team of Trae by himself. This is obviously a much tougher opponent. Fox, Sabonis, DeRozan, Murray. We'll see how long this one is competitive for. Obviously, they're getting 8 at home, but it is a high game total. Ball, $9,900. He let everybody down the other day. 34 fantasy points, 4 fouls, 6 turnovers in that one. Just 7 of 20 against Toronto. Not going to get much easier for him against Boston. De'Aaron Fox, 86. Cunningham, 85. Price kind of drops off after once you get past Trae Young.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested in Trae at 10-2, just given how good he's been and how shorthanded they are. I mean, dude, he played 40 minutes in a 13-point loss. He's just going to play 40 minutes nightly until until somebody gets healthy. So no issues getting to Trae if it's going to be 40 minutes, 20 plus shots, and double digit assists to pair with it. I would go back to LaMelo Ball if you think that game can stay competitive, right? If you think that game can stay competitive, well, then, yeah, I mean, he has a massive ceiling. If you don't, well, then, eh.
Yeah, 11-point spread, but Boston on the road here, so maybe a little closer than they could keep it closer. Who knows?
I mean, it's the NBA, right? Detroit stayed close with Boston. I'm not sitting here saying that Boston isn't going to blow them out because it's very possible
They made that ridiculous comeback against the Pacers in the fourth quarter, and then obviously ended up losing in overtime for their first loss. Siakam just was money in that game, nailed a game-winning 3, but I thought they were on their way to a double-digit loss. So they can't roaring back. So Celtics are always a team in play.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that, like, I don't think that Charlotte's going to keep it close, but it is at home. It's a Friday night in Charlotte, so we know where we're going as
well. Yeah. Again, you have Fox at 86. It is obviously a really good matchup for him, but you just want to know about how competitive that game's going to be and if he'll play enough minutes in that one. I do like Cade at 85. He's been really good. Flip side, Brunson at 84 still feels like just a misprice on Jalen Brunson here. And then if Towns doesn't play, I mean, that should only even add more usage to him. He's been really good, right? We know that there's probably more for him to give as well from a scoring perspective. So again, I like him there. Halliburton now is maybe finally starting to wake up a little bit, filling up the stat sheet, doubles in back-to-back games. Against a Pelicans team that's clearly reeling.
Why is Tyrese Halliburton $8,000? He's gone 50 and 48. His price has dropped $500.
Yep.
Does that make sense? I said it the same thing I said in Boston. That game environment was elite. It had 267 points because Indiana was able to keep it close, and Halliburton was obviously a primary reason why. And my opinion doesn't change on Halliburton at this price point. If this is the version of Halliburton we're going to get, he should be $1,500 more, and yet here he is at $8,000. So I don't even think it's close in the mid tier. Like, I think Cade's fine. I think Brunson, obviously, if there's no Towns, is really good. But I think per dollar, Halliburton is far and away the best play in this tier.
Yeah, I really won't sit here and argue too much with you. Quickly is doubtful for this game, still dealing with that injury. You got the Chicago guards. Schroeder's been unbelievable, $6,800 for him. I was concerned about the back-to-back on the road. He was not. 34 minutes, 11 of 14. The three-point shooting's been ridiculous for him this year. Good assist numbers out of him. And then, of course, the scoring. I think this guy is looking for a contract that he's not going to turn down this time.
He's earning one.
Right?
At least whatever he's doing, whether it's earning a contract, getting traded to a competitive team, whatever the case is, he is going to get something going. And if it's not, he's just going to keep putting up big numbers for Brooklyn because Simmons is limited, Claxton's limited when he plays, and they need scoring. And he's kind of been, he's been more consistent than Cam Thomas has.
Yeah.
So
and obviously you get the assist numbers are pretty crazy for him. So
right.
No, Schroeder for sure. Again, just for perspective, 5x at $6,800 is 34 fantasy points. It's gone for 51, 51, and 46. So way over production there. Getting about 8x almost return.
Doing it in scoring, just scoring alone, he's gotten us there.
Yep, agreed. So Schroeder certainly stands out. You can always play White in cash games. Derek White, that is, in cash games if you want. Jalen Suggs. Now, this is not a great spot for Jalen Suggs in terms of matchup against Cleveland. He has been out of his mind. They haven't really moved his price all that much over the last couple of games. Now, no Wagner. No Banchero, no Wagner. Do you think that he just takes over, or are you just going to wait for a better matchup and hope he struggles this game so the next time they play, their price tag doesn't, balloon?
I don't know, because obviously if just having Paolo off the floor, they're going to need Suggs to operate as like a scorer again.
Yeah.
And then if Franz isn't there, Suggs might be their primary scorer. But is that primary scorer for 2.5 quarters? And I don't know how. I don't know. Obviously, you look at a team in a tough spot without their two best players, and you're like, all right, well, there's something here that we should and will like because their two best players are not available.
Yeah.
So,
it has to be a guard because we're not going against Jared Allen and Evan Mobley.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, and it's hard not to look at Suggs and be like, yeah, that guy should be really productive and possibly lead in multiple categories while their two best players are out. So, as tough as a spot as it is, if both are out, gotta consider them because they'll be down who they're down.
Agreed. Because again, we don't really know what they'd backfill.
Their starting lineup would be. I am fairly confident Anthony Black starts. Just given how much he's played. Suggs, Black, KCP, Isaac, and Wendell Carter.
Yeah.
And then you're just obviously you're not extending Isaac past 20 minutes. He's only played 2 games. Right?
So Goga is now upgraded to questionable for this one. Mo Wagner could just be the backup 4.
Yeah.
And the Goga is the backup 5, right?
Yeah, because Cole Anthony's your scoring guard off the bench.
And they have Caleb Houston.
They've been playing Jet. They played Jet Howard the last few games.
Okay.
They took in the first round last year. So I would assume Jet Howard would play over Caleb Houston. Gary Harris would play extended. Yeah. So they're in trouble with scoring.
They need Wagner to honestly be healthy.
Yeah, they need Franz to be.
They need Franz to be.
They need Franz. They need Franz. Yes.
So you have Suggs there. Russell's down to 58. Drew's down here. Davion, $5,400. Trey Mann and Peyton Pritchard are basically the same guy. They're both 5K. They both come off the bench. They both knock down a bunch of shots. So you can. This, though, does feel like a Pritchard game when they talk about Celtics starters and, games they assume they're going to win if they go ahead and have themselves a big lead. The man played 39 minutes, in that game against the Pacers.
What was the Horford? What was the reason that Horford just played 20? That was my question.
They went Obi Toppin at the 5.
Okay. So it took and Charlotte's gonna go traditional center. So
Nick Richards will play. Guys, what's their face there? Our guy Jackson fouled out. So
yeah, I saw.
Which we knew was gonna happen. He was just.
Also, it is something to note. It is a back-to-back. So
sure.
For Boston, they play the double Charlotte back-to-back. So that doesn't affect. It would affect Pritchard positively if Horford were to sit on the front end.
Or
then they would
or
probably
Drew,
just go
Drew Holiday sits one of those two
Yeah.
games or
Yep.
something like that.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, again, it's we can only mention the quote so many times, but obviously Brown said, they go into these games against teams like Detroit last year where they knew they were going to win, and they kind of like sat back and let the bench guys take over. And we've seen Pritchard have. I mean, it's very clear that they want him playing 25 minutes a night, for the most part here. So, and his scoring is just off the charts. So. He's if you had to pick one of Mann or Pritchard, like, is it Pritchard for you?
I mean,
I know Mann's been unbelievable. So like,
it's a tough question. That's a tough question because they're both really great.
Would you play them both?
I mean, it's funny because because they both probably would play in garbage time.
Yeah, probably.
Right? Like, I think Pritchard might be more likely to play in garbage time, but like, why wouldn't Trey Mann also play in garbage time?
Mann is their sixth man. Not to say man too many times, but like he comes off their bench.
Trey sixth man, just to cut out the second.
It's like when Manu Ginobili would come off the bench and play 36 minutes a night. And it's like, oh, he's a sixth man. It's like, are you sure he's not just a starter?
Right. Right. Well, we do have to factor in Brandon Miller's questionable here.
That's fair.
So Brandon Miller coming back. I'm not saying Trey Mann won't play. I'm just saying that there is obviously now another person so it would I think it's Pritchard.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's I'm also not what bad can I say about Trey Mann right now?
Agreed.
I mean, he's an absolute walking bucket off the bench.
The guy comes off the bench and just has like 12 points right away. You're like, of course.
Yep.
Of course he does. Any other value plays down here? Alvarado's playing a whole lot of minutes.
Alvarado. It's Alvarado.
Okay.
McCollum's out. McCollum's already out.
McCollum's out, right? So,
already rolled McCollum out. We're gonna get the start for Alvarado. Dude,
Hawkins is questionable too, right?
He was also questionable the other day, and he played through it. Okay. So I would say my expectation. Not only did he play 30, he played 40 minutes. So like my expectation is he plays. Their back spasms, so that's kind of hard to predict, right?
Ask Lauri Markkanen.
Ask Lauri Markkanen. So, like, I'm gonna assume that he's good.
Okay.
But I would get to Alvarado anyway, and I assume our first ownership run and second and third, Alvarado's gonna be popular. I mean, he scored 35 fantasy points in a start while playing 35 minutes. So, in a game against a pretty bad defense in a really good paced environment.
No, I agree with you. It's a good spot for him there. McBride versus Detroit. McBride played 25 minutes against Miami. We kind of know where he's at. Price tag at 4,300, certainly appealing. We'll see what happens with Black there. Did McConnell get a bump with no Nembhard? 22 minutes in that game?
It was,
Mathurin went nutty. I know that.
Well, that's where we're going. That's where we're going.
Okay. Anybody else on here?
No.
Okay.
You could like make a case for Cole Anthony if you wanted to, if Franz is out, just because they need scoring, right? Sure. Like literally just because they need scoring.
Okay. Shooting guard. Jaylen Brown is your top price shooting guard here against Charlotte. Brown going for another 47 fantasy points because, of course, that was an overtime
11.
game. It is worth mentioning, overtime game.
1 for 11 from 3.
Yep. Did you see the game-winning three-point attempt he had?
No.
Airball.
I mean,
Siakam drills it dead on. They call a play. Everybody runs around. I thought they were going to get it to Peyton Pritchard. No, I would have probably let him take the shot. Instead, Jaylen Brown was wide open, top of the key, airball.
If there's one thing that Jaylen Brown is not totally great at, I will say that is definitely shooting 3-pointers.
He has an amazing free throw line jumper. Like that is his.
But he also can't make free throws.
Well, he can't make free throws. That is true. But his free throw line jumper is on point. He's there. Brandon Ingram at $8,300. And again, I understand that they had some tough games in Golden State, 4 straight road games. They're back home. I definitely don't mind this. He probably ends up drawing the Neesmith defense there.
Yep.
Donnie Mitch is 82.
Yep. I mean, it's a tough spot, but it is a good price.
Because he's going to get Suggs on him. So
he's
or KCP, I guess. Right?
That's true. He got Suggs the entire for 7 straight games of in that series, like nonstop hounding. Not that it mattered. He scored like 50 in a game in the postseason. But again, look at the minutes. This is the best case scenario for Cleveland. They have not needed Donovan Mitchell in any capacity because every game they're comfortably winning. The Knicks game was close, but like still 33 minutes.
Yeah.
Dude, they're just really good. That team is really fully hitting its ceiling because they're getting leaps from Mobley, right? I mean, leap singular. Like Evan Mobley leap makes a difference.
Yeah, they probably beat Boston when they play them because if Boston doesn't have Porzingis, so
yeah, and well, if this version of Evan Mobley is playing, or like even this version of Darius Garland is playing, like that, it's a different series. But yeah, I mean the price is great. I probably lean Ingram in this, like if I was picking, just because I feel a little better about Ingram's minutes. Not that Ingram's like playing a lot more, but they've been blown out 3 straight games.
Yeah,
so we don't know what the minutes would look like. And obviously New Orleans is so shorthanded as well.
Yep. Levine is questionable for this one.
Yeah, he's a shoulder subluxation. He is what Shohei Ohtani had.
Yeah, Ohtani played, but we've also seen guys miss a lot of time with that as well. So it all depends on how he feels. Cam Thomas 72. We got maybe Miller back at 7K. We talked Schroeder already. Got Reeves 61. Coming off a pretty bad game against Cleveland, but again, it's Cleveland, so kind of consider him back in a favorable spot here against Toronto.
Yeah, it's a great spot. It's a great spot against. I don't know if I want to go there.
You probably want to play Anthony Davis instead.
Yeah. Also, I just want to note, I would we didn't really talk Josh Giddey at point guard. He's been great, but if there's no Levine, I would definitely consider Giddey 69.
Okay.
And then Kobe White 68 if there's no Levine. Kobe White has been, obviously we saw the ceiling and everything else has been kind of mediocre for the price. But if there's no Levine, Brooklyn's defense is Brooklyn's defense. Yes, they have Claxton, and yes, they have Simmons. Those 2 players help. They're both still on minutes restriction, so it's not like we're gonna get like full capacity run for either of those players. So I would definitely be interested in White and Giddey if there's no Levine.
Yeah, I mean, one of those guys are going to draw Dennis Schroeder defense, which is
correct. That has been a fun thing to attack for a long time.
Grady Dick's $5,500, 11 of 17 from the floor. I mean, again, we said it. Like, he's going to shoot. I've been saying it since last year. Right? They drafted this kid to shoot, and we're seeing the offensive upside when everybody is out. We talked Mathurin, though, right? They wasted no time, up to 5,400. It's just whether or not you trust Carlisle to actually play him again.
It's just if there's no Nembhard, and I know that he's Carlisle's getting a lot of crap because Mathurin obviously started the year. Look at the first 2 games he starts. It's like, or not starts, but like, just bottle rocket off the bench, and then he doesn't play. And
I iced him for most of last year after like a great rookie season. Like, it didn't make any sense.
I'd have a hard time believing that he's not starting if there's no Nembhard. Like they just don't have a choice because they also might be down Miles Turner.
Yeah.
And like you just need his offense in that scenario, right? Like you just need him on the floor. So I would be very interested in Nembhard or in Mathurin if Nembhard's out.
I agree. He's starting. I would agree with you there. You get Malik Monk off the bench. There's Hawkins here. Agbaji 5K.
He didn't start. He was fine, but he didn't start. So at 5K, like
played 29 minutes still though.
He did. But like Agbaji's the same price as Pritchard or Mann.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
He's $200 cheaper than Jordan Hawkins, who played 40 minutes and took 20 shots. Like I'm in a lot of scenarios, Agbaji is just the odd man out. And the guy that you're flashing on the screen is just playing himself into minutes. He's just playing himself into a lot of minutes.
I mean, I would like to trust him,
The price. We missed the price. We missed it. You didn't. Look,
I called him out at 33 against Memphis or 32 against Memphis. I said revenge game.
Right. We just it's now 39. I'm not saying that's expensive if he's going to play the minutes that he's playing.
But if he does it again, he'll be 45 the next
days
time.
of 3,200 are gone. That's fully gone.
We honestly need them not to play him and hope the next time we get it. But anything else for you down here? Like they started Steph Curry, Beasley's been off the bench pretty good.
I don't think so, unless Atlanta decided it's a terrible idea to start Roddy again.
Yeah.
Then no. Like if they started Matthews, then he's in play. But if he doesn't start, I have a hard time getting there with the minutes.
That's fine. Small forward has Tatum at 10K finally. Come off 62 in the OT game.
One clunker
here. Yeah, John played him here. Fucking floor game.
Ooh.
Yeah. LeBron's 88.
Yeah, I mean he's had the one game.
Yeah, I mean, against Toronto could be a favorable spot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'm just asking what you do. What do you want to do here?
I mean, it's Tatum, and then it's go down to the rest of the position and look at that. DeRozan has been very safe. Very safe. So if you want to play DeMar DeRozan, nothing has really changed. He's going to be just ho-hum, really good, right?
Yeah.
So DeRozan, but there's just no chance we're not playing RJ Barrett. There's just none. It doesn't matter. He was so good the other day. And they're just running it back. There's Quickly doubtful. Everyone's hurt again. They're just running it back. So we're just going to plug and play because there's even more minutes for Barrett to play. He played 33. This is only second game of the year. They're like, oh, we can't actually play you 35, even though we can't take you off we probably shouldn't be taking you off the floor, but lock and load RJ Barrett.
Lock and load this guy too, because he's just here. He's the guy. And if there's no Towns, I mean, he's already getting you 14, 13, and 10 rebounds.
He's going to get 20.
I mean, what? Towns is supposed to come and take all the rebounds. And here's Josh Hart out here just grabbing he's the same guy he was last year when we were playing him and screaming like, you have to play him at this price tag. He's smashing value every night.
Mid sevens. It was like 75, 76, 78.
39, 41, 41, and now they dropped his price $200.
It's like the Halliburton thing. We're getting peak production and their price gouging here.
Yeah. I don't know. You have to, if he's going to rebound like this, you have to play him.
Yes.
And I can't believe he's rebounding like this, but
it
is insane.
Hey, you say it a lot. Rebounding is
it's an effort thing.
You can be skilled. You can be a skilled rebounder, but your rebounds are coming from effort.
Yeah.
He plays 40. He played 42 minutes in the fourth game of his fourth game of the year. So
I know. He doesn't come off the floor. He rebounds.
Great condition. I mean, he's just an elite conditioned athlete, right? Yep. So he is always going for rebounds. And I agree. I mean, per dollar, he's the best play in the Knicks. No?
Yeah.
Per dollar? I mean, he's the best play in the Knicks.
Yeah, I haven't looked at Towns' prices.
Well, Bridges is right here next to him. He's been good.
He's been better.
Towns is 81, which is a really good price. But Josh Hart is $5,900, dude. He's getting there, and Josh Hart got us 3.5x in rebounds.
Laugh. It just my reaction to 40 minutes on a player's timeline is just to laugh because the Knicks just
everybody.
Yeah. Because Bridges has been good from a fantasy perspective, but his numbers aren't great-ish from a ratios. It's just that he's playing 40 minutes, so he's accumulating stats.
They're back to full Tibbs. They played DDA the first game. They played Hawk Purdy the second game. 8-man rotation last game where Jericho Sims played 9 minutes. Cameron Payne played 11.
Yeah.
That was
I played 23 and that was it.
dude. Everyone else 36 Brunson, 39 Bridges, 40, 42 Hart, 37 OG, and 39 Towns. I mean, it's just we're back to like get your Knicks because they're the one team. They're the team that you know is going to play 40 minutes.
Yeah, I think you have to play Josh Hart.
Yeah, it's a great dude. It's a great tag. I almost want Towns in because it doesn't like that hasn't mattered, and
like
I don't want
Durant battle for like positioning, and Josh Hart just scoops in for rebounds the whole time.
Yeah, and also like I think if he's off the floor, people are just gonna be like, oh yeah, of course. Why wouldn't we play Josh Hart? Look at all these rebounds that he can grab. Where like people probably aren't looking at him right now and being like, they're healthy and.
If you know anything about NBA DFS, or if you watch other shows and they're not talking about Josh Hart like we talk about Josh Hart for the last 5 years, then stay here. Don't
Agreed. Agreed.
We've been Josh Hart truthers for a very long time. Got Hachimura, $5,300. Again, it wasn't like his greatest game, but it was a blowout, and it was Cleveland, so I will give him a pass on that one. You mentioned OG with the minutes. The one guy I don't really care much about on that team. You take 6 shots in 37 minutes because everybody else is shooting, and
just go down to the value. Go to Atlanta guys. Reece
45. Yeah,
he was great. He was great the other night.
Finally had the game you've been calling him out for: 17, 6, 2, 2, and 1. Then you have Roddy, who started.
He did
start 32 minutes. 17, 4, 1, and 2, 26 fantasy points at 35. He's up to 42 now.
Dude, he was in foul trouble too in the first half.
Yeah.
There might have been more minutes for David Roddy. He didn't play the final 6 minutes of the second quarter because he had 3 fouls. David Roddy would have played 35 plus minutes if there wasn't foul trouble there.
Sure. Playing any of these other value plays down here?
No. Okay. I don't think so. I don't think we need to go there.
What was the Toronto plays down there? They had
Mogbo. We'll get to power forward. Mogbo and
Your boy played 27 minutes.
Just go. Get me out of here. Go to power forward. I hate it here.
4K.
Yeah. Well, he didn't. How many stocks did he have? Not any. Oh, he must be. He's back to the bench.
6 rebounds, 24, 23.
He didn't hustle. He didn't hustle that one play in his 24 minutes.
Take some real balls to play his Zaire Williams, Jalen Wilson DFS lineup.
Dude. Yeah.
You know what it is that they keep throwing Noah Clowney out there, and he's been terrible. And they're just like,
he has not been great.
You know what? Let's go back to Simmons at the 5, and we'll put Wilson and Williams in the game instead of Noah Clowney. All right. Power forward has Tatum, as we talked about, at 10K. LeBron, we've touched on. Zion's 87. Jalen Johnson's 84. DDR is discussed. Siakam's been unreal. $7,600 for him. Mobley is in a great spot, but for how long? $7,400 for him.
So this is tough for me because I think you can just default say we should just be playing Atlanta until they get healthy, right? Because they're so shorthanded and they're going to play monster minutes. I mean, Jalen Johnson played 40 minutes again. His price went up, but it's warranted. He'd still have 7-8x if he got the return of the last 2 games of what his price is right now.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to get away from this, and not just because of my Jalen Johnson bias. It's just he is very good on a very shorthanded team, and he's playing monster minutes. I also there's just no way Zion ever goes 5 of 20 in a basketball game. He will not go 5 of 20 in a game.
What is the free throws?
I don't know what the free throws are. I don't know what the shooting is. He's shooting horribly, but they are so shorthanded. You love to see the minutes at 33 in a game that they lost by 15.
Yeah.
There's just more opportunity. And now you get a really good spot. If there's no Miles Turner, I know Isaiah Jackson's a good shot blocker, but their rim protection is
going to fall out.
Yeah, is vastly different. Zion is going to be relentless in that scenario if it's Obi Toppin and it's Siakam, and that's their front court. So I love Zion, Jalen Johnson We talked to Rosen.
After what I just saw the Warriors do to the Pelicans, though,
Yeah,
like Siakam, who's just cooked Boston and Orlando in back-to-back games. Like those are two Eastern Conference powerhouse teams defensively and
yes, they
perimeter
are.
defensively as well. I really think Siakam is in a spot to just have himself another day. I mean, he's $300 cheaper than he was off of 53 fantasy points. So
That's a
if you
pretty.
mentioned it, all the Pacers guys are down.
Don't get it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't either. But 47-53 against Orlando and Boston in back-to-back games, like that's a tough run, you know.
Yep.
So I'm with you though. Like I agree, Zion, Johnson, Siakam, all great. Mobley could in 19 minutes he had 30 fantasy points
I know.
against Anthony Davis. You know, right?
12 of 16 from the floor is.
And
that
now what? What's he getting? Who they putting out there?
Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah,
who's a very good defender.
Sure, but for how long?
For 18 minutes, and they
Right.
might. And how many are even of those 18? Are we staggering the 18 with Mobley? Like,
and we're kind of talking about Mobley here. Jared Allen had a ridiculous game. So like, my worry, of course, is that Mobley plays 19 minutes because they're up 40.
It's a tough part with this year's. It's tough with Cleveland this year, right? Because Mobley's that much better, and
I've been saying it forever. I would love to see Allen or Mobley traded to a different team.
Yeah,
remember there was rumors of like Valanciunas getting dealt to like Cleveland. I'm like,
it was bizarre for the Jared Allen,
right? Like unless it was for Mobley or Allen in some like other deal, like didn't make sense. They play next to each other. They want Mobley to sort of stretch out a little bit. He's not that guy. That's a tough team. That is a tough team.
Yeah, they're good.
Bridges no-showed in that last game. Big sad. Keegan's there, but Josh Hart's here at 59, so we would just play him in that range.
Yep.
What did Gaku do?
Nothing.
24 minutes, 1 of 5. Sad. Hachimura, I mentioned OB. Toppin played 33. He's pretty good.
Yeah, and if that was the direction they went, right, with the backup 5, we were wondering what they were going to do. They went Obi Toppin as their backup 5.
Pelicans are a team to do that against. Tice is out. Misi is questionable, right?
Yeah, they are.
And Herb is out, so like they might go small ball.
Robinson Earl is your backup center,
right?
Or starting center,
So
whatever they decide.
Very well be in for big minutes here.
Yeah, like Jackson's going to start, but like you said, there's absolutely no guarantee that just because he starts,
he tries to meet Zion at the rim 3 straight plays and he's on the bench.
Like Isaiah Jackson had a very good game for his price the other day.
He did.
He played 25 minutes because he fouled out in 25 minutes. He had 4 blocks and steals, and that's going to be tough for Zion. Yeah, I mean, the Toppin stuff is really, really interesting because he's a very good offensive player. Obi Toppin is a very athletic, like good offensive player who can rebound, who can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
honestly, from a first-round pick,
he got drafted to a team that doesn't play their bench.
Yeah,
that was the problem.
I mean that is.
Kids drafted him and just let him ice, on the bench.
Honestly, just unfortunate for Toppin in 2 scenarios where he got drafted by the Knicks, didn't play his bench, and then he went to a mad scientist. Like it's just pretty unfortunate for him in general. He did sign a big contract. So yeah, I mean, I think Toppin is but the Toppin stuff is contingent on Turner. Like Turner might just play and it doesn't matter.
Does not matter.
But
then we might play Turner.
We might play Turner. We could just play Jonathan Mogbo, who started. Obviously, like he was 3,600, so it's a much different play here. But he was very good. Just the 25 minutes kind of sucked, right? Yeah. I mean, 25 minutes that kind of hurt because they did just play Agbaji more, and Agbaji closed over him. So they didn't play Boucher 16 minutes, but I I guess that does show you, like, Toronto's just buying into the youth movement, right? They're Mogbo 25 minutes, Boucher 16, so they're just like not playing Chris Boucher.
Mm-hmm. Which is it's crazy. Dorian Finney-Smith, 28 minutes, another 28 plus fantasy points for our guy here. Grant Williams revenge game.
Revenge.
17, 2, 5, and 2 against Toronto.
Yeah. No, I know. He's fine.
He's not fine.
Robinson Earl 3,600 could be a little bit interesting.
Could be. What? Isaac is there. Larry Nance, Wagner. Nance didn't play though, right? No,
he played six minutes or something.
Ice. Yeah. Dude, I mean, in a blowout, we probably get Mo Wagner. Shortened rotation, we might get Mo Wagner. Would you?
I would feel better about it if Goga doesn't play.
Okay.
I just want it. I would no Goga, no Franz. I need a shortened team to play.
Okay. Yeah, Robinson Earl, 22 minutes. I
mean, you said it, Misi. If Misi and Tice don't play, they just don't really have a choice, right? Like It's just kind of what are happening to these teams? What happened?
I don't know.
How is everyone this hurt? We didn't talk about Javonte Green at small forward. We're here about
Watford probable.
Yeah, actually, I remember seeing that.
Clowney no longer getting minutes. Trent Watford gets it instead.
One of them. I mean, one of them's dead.
Well, Clowney's playing horrifically, right? So like Zaire and Jalen Wilson have played well enough to keep their minutes, I think.
Probably. Javonte Green played 26 minutes off the Pelicans bench. He's 4,200. We know what Javonte Green is. I mean,
yeah, dude, he had a hero run there for
he did for the Bulls.
Chicago a couple years
he did
ago.
Last year he had
40 fantasy points for like a week straight. Right?
Yeah, it was funny.
Guys hanging around the league. The Celtics drafted that guy like 10 years ago.
He did. Hey, dude, these types of players can stick around for a long time. 3 steals, 2 blocks. He has 3 games this year with multiple stocks. Like, that's a player that can stick around for a while, no? Like, so yeah, Javonte Green, 40. If they're super shorthanded, he'll play minutes.
Yeah, 2019, he was taking.
Oh, so that's not 10. That's the half of that. That's 5. But 10 and 5, same thing.
It feels he's 31.
Well, here we go. This is like the.
No, this is his 7th year.
Okay, math's hard.
No, that's not right.
That's like not right. Something's not adding up. He's not drafted in 2019.
4, 5, 6 year. This is his 6th year.
Okay, that's not. That feels not possible.
But it's 31, so like he entered the league at 25.
Yeah, it's a little old. He was like the first super senior.
Oh, you know what? He was I thought he was drafted by the Celtics. He was undrafted in 2015.
Okay.
Went and played overseas and then signed with the Celtics.
That makes sense.
Good on him, dude.
Yeah. Still kicking for sure.
Still making rounds. All right. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Center. Anthony Davis is 10-6. Anthony Davis had a bad game. Ish. Just
because he didn't play the full minutes.
31, yeah. Just he had 31 minutes, and he had a really bad first half. Which again, Allen and Mobley are just swallowing him up.
Yeah.
Sabonis is $9,600. Again, it would be a great spot. Played 34 minutes in a game they won by 40. So 30 there, whatever it is. So
they're just playing these dudes.
Just playing Sabonis. So great spot for him. We talk Zion. Towns versus Detroit would be great. Again, 65 fantasy points, 39 minutes. First time we saw the true minutes extension because he had fouled out against Cleveland. Because hey, Cleveland, blow out against Indiana, blow out against Boston. Finally get a game that's competitive that he stays in for 39 minutes out of Towns. He gets a 44 and 13 against Bam, who's supposed to be a good defensive center. I think it's going to be a long night for Jalen Duren if Towns is in.
It's not going to be a long night because he's not going to be on the floor for very long. It's going to be beef stew getting and then maybe even dipping their toes into Paul Reed after that. So, I think the next two centers, Towns and Vooch, are both great plays. I think Vooch is a great play, especially if there's no Levine. I mean, the offense is just going to run through Vooch. He's been super, super consistent this year, and the price, another guy who's been really good and has seen his price drastically drop.
Good. $7,700, good price for him. I mentioned Allen, 20 and 17 in that game against the Lakers.
Not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, any night these for this this front court rather for Cleveland is just a menace. So both of them are fine. Pirtle came through, 48, 20 and 16 there, 35 minutes. He's got AD. It's gonna be a tough spot for him defensively.
Yeah, but dude, we said this I feel like I don't disagree, but sometimes he faced the Joker 2 games ago.
Yeah,
he went 16 and 19 with the Joker on the other side. Yeah, I'm not saying he can't get in foul trouble. I'm not saying he won't get in foul trouble. But they are so shorthanded. If he is going to play 35 and 40 minutes like he did the last 2 games, he's too cheap at 6,900 if he's going to give us 40 bombs.
Mm-hmm. We got 26 minutes from Claxton in his last game.
Yeah, it was great.
So I got to assume that's at least the baseline floor of minutes for him.
Yeah.
Maybe we get up to 28. Maybe we get up to 30. He had a double-double in back-to-back games now. Fouled out of that game, too. So, because, again, maybe he would have played more. 3 blocks, though. So, we know those numbers are there. Claxton at 6K is a pretty good value if he's going to start playing more minutes here.
Dude, I thought that in the Milwaukee game, we just didn't know how many minutes he was going to play. And obviously 22 wasn't enough, but anywhere creeping up to 30, he's just simply too cheap at 6K. And if we're going to get the offense, because we know the rebounds are going to be there, we know he's an elite shot blocker. If we're going to get the offense along with it, I mean, he's an elite player.
What do we do with Nick Richards?
Oh, I mean, he has been incredible.
Do we think he can do it against Al Horford?
I did it against Bam.
Yeah.
I would say I would probably build my roster around Bam right now than Al Horford.
That's fair.
No, I mean, it's just another situation where he's playing with a really good point guard.
Yeah.
Playing with I don't know. I don't know what Nick Richards is eating. I don't know what his pregame regimen is, and I don't know what happened from previous years, because Nick Richards went from solid NBA backup to let me just give you 24, 14, 4 and 4.
Yeah.
And back to back or 3 straight doubles. I don't know what happened with Nick Richards, but
the minutes help.
But dude, I mean, just because someone gets 33 minutes doesn't mean they're going 24, 14, 4 and 4.
Sure. Horford's down here at 51. Played 32 against Detroit. Played 27 against Milwaukee. 33 and 22 fantasy points against the Knicks. He had 27. Again, they just took him off the floor against the Pacers because they didn't need him out there with Toppin. So, got a floor game. He only played 20 minutes in that blowout against Washington. So, in the games where he's played minutes, he's been pretty good for 5,100. And centers against Charlotte have been the play. Is Horford qualifying for you here?
Possibly, yeah.
Hits the open 3 like most Celtics do, so that's useful.
Yeah.
All right. Jackson's here at 45. It's kind of no Turner. He will start again. To your point, he played 25 minutes, just fouled out. Played 22 minutes a game before that at 28 fantasy points. So, fantasy point per minute monster. Yes. He's got a little Montrezl Harrell in him,
with way more fouls, right? Because I don't remember Harrell fouling. I don't remember him fouling this much.
Maybe his early Clipper days. Come off the bench and just be him.
He was a menace. He was a menace.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so good.
Just an undersized center that came on the floor and just balled.
Yeah, that's the one difference. Isaiah Jackson can jump through a gym where Harrell was 6'7", playing. It's legit 7-footers every night. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not against playing Isaiah Jackson if there's no Turner. He's going to start. We saw that. It's not like Carlisle didn't go back to him. He
Yeah,
just kept getting every time we went back to him, he got fouls. So if he can stay out of foul trouble and play 30 minutes, I think we'd be super happy with the result of Isaiah Jackson.
I agree. Measy is questionable here with a lower abdomen contusion. If he's good and starts, I mean, like we would easily click 4K Measy here.
Sorry, I just got distracted by the best catch I've ever seen by Garrett Wilson.
Who made the catch?
Garrett Wilson.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, if Measy were to start, he is an elite play.
The block and steals upside in just
Yeah.
limited in 20 minutes, dude. Like that's insane ratios.
Yeah, I wonder what his FanDuel price is. Obviously, we'll look into that for like the live stream. Or
I'll pull it up right now. You keep talking.
Because obviously that would be like the preferred play just with the upside. Do you think, like, what would you, if Tice sits, right? What do you think a safe projection for Measy's minutes would be? Because they still have
4,300 on.
That's really interesting.
But you know, obviously they have the late game, so would you rather play him or Jokic, right? Like,
yeah, that's fair. That's that's
you spending down and not playing the Joker who just goes for 70 every game, right? Like, hey, thanks DraftKings. You know, can't play. We don't get to play him.
We're never going to get to play them because they're going to cut off all the anytime they're home. That's the Western time zone. We're
had
cooked.
29, 18, and 16. Nope, you can't have that.
We're cooked.
DraftKings.
We're never playing. We're never getting to play them.
It's unbelievable. We had to hope for a Thursday night slate. 4 games.
4 games with Jokic. That's the only way.
So if you're listening, go make sure you get the Joker in your lineup on FanDuel against Minnesota here. As we all know, brother, I got 40.
That is an elite clip.
Take the help.
That is the best. That is the best clip ever.
Gobert's gonna be in trouble. This form, Jokic. Gobert's in trouble.
Did you see the Russell Westbrook Halloween costume today?
No.
He was the Joker.
Okay.
Which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, well, that's good. Did you see what was it? Someone tweeted a picture that Kerr was Hoarder. Did you see that? He dressed up as Kevin Hoarder.
No.
Yeah,
why did he dress up as Kevin Hoarder? They look alike?
I don't know. Someone tweeted it out. I'm assuming it wasn't like.
Wait, dude. No way.
Right? Like,
wait, is that really Steve Kerr?
That's what
this isn't Steve Kerr.
Okay.
So we have the context added.
We got duped.
It's a fan dressed up for Halloween in 2023.
We got duped. Someone said Steve Kerr. I was like, that's hilarious. That's Steve Kerr.
Yeah,
it looks like him. I mean, like
it does, but also then you look at him, you're like, guy's actually looks way younger than Steve Kerr's aged a lot.
That's fair. All right, side tangent over. Measy would be a great play for us at 4K. Why are the? I mean, listen, I obviously jokingly talk up Tice a lot on this show, because it's cheap. And like he does have some numbers, right? Like 24, 18, 19 at 4K. They're fine. What are you doing? Like play Measy for what?
I know. I mean, you're not gonna get a disagreement from me.
For $200, even if Tice starts, I'm still probably playing Measy over him just for the pure upside.
Agreed.
So you got that going for you. Jalen Smith is supposed to be back in this game. Guy had 30 fantasy points in 11 minutes.
Dude, he is actually this guy. Has he not? He has always been that guy.
Guy's a lottery pick.
Crazy. Dude, that is crazy though. No, that is like different level.
16, 7, and 1 in 12 minutes.
That is a different level.
Yeah. The only difference is this year or this version would have had that last year would have had also 6 fouls in that time. It would have 16, 7, and 6 fouls in 12 minutes.
He would have also had 6 fouls. That's correct.
But I mean, dude, 23, 19, and 29 fantasy points.
I agree.
Never like, you got to really be making multiple lineups to get him in there, but
Right.
that's what it's there for. John Isaac, again, if he plays 18 minutes, he has that potential to do the same damn thing.
So I saw a Mosley quote when he was rolled in for the Bulls game.
Yeah.
And he had basically said, like, there's no rush, and he didn't really miss some games. It's going to be a ramp up.
There wasn't a rush until they just lost Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner.
Sure. And Goga's possibly out too.
Yeah.
Because actually, you know what? They're going to go double big here. That's what they're going to do. You're right.
Wendell at the 4.
Yeah, they did this last year. When they started Goga and Wendell, when I think it might have been when Banchero was out, but they went double big. They're playing Cleveland. We've seen this against Cleveland a couple times where teams go the Celtics, right? The Celtics go
just Porzingis
go double big.
Porzingis and Horford, yeah.
So they're gonna go. I think they go double big. Now that we talk, if Goga plays, I think they go double big. Something that's
Okay. Let's see. There was just 2 games last year where he was inactive. It's for Banchero. Now this is last season. Maybe it was a different year, but let me just pull up the game logs quickly. They started Goga and Wendell Carter Jr. and they started Caleb Houston and Wendell Carter Jr.
Because I remember playing Goga Batadze when I was like, wait, he's like 3K starting at power forward. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know if like
they started the 2 bigs versus Atlanta.
And then I mean, if they were ever to do it, it's this spot, right? Because it's the spot against yeah.
Anthony Black also started that game, 27 minutes.
I think there's a very good possibility Anthony Black is starting, regardless. Well, I guess if Franz doesn't play.
Right. Right. That's the breakdown.
There was no value on the Thursday slate. I feel like there was a ton of value on the slate, or potential value on the slate.
Alvarado.
Riche. Yeah. I mean, right there.
Magbo.
Yeah, but like
Jackson.
Roddy and Jackson, I would probably play over him only because the price is $900 more than it was.
Yeah.
And then like the low 5s was like I felt like crazy, like Pritchard,
Pritchard and Man,
and then Mathurin if Nembhard sits. And
where's our guy? So we're gonna plug in Hart.
Yeah, Josh Hart, agreed, totally.
We go Hart, Alvarado to start this.
Hart, Alvarado, Riche. Play Hart at power. Power forward's a good position.
Yeah, no, we're gonna.
I would still probably play Riche, but also Jalen Johnson exists in the world.
Would you rather? Yeah, Riche is there. Power forward. I mean, you mentioned Zion, obviously.
I think it's probably Zion, or
we can play Zion at the 5.
I mean,
we kind of want to play Jackson though, don't we?
He's good. Well, let's just assume Turner's in because Turner's questionable. So let's just assume Turner's in.
Go Zion at the 5 then.
Yeah, play Zion at the 5. Jalen, do you want to like both go Jalen Johnson? Maybe like Jalen Johnson and Zion, because there's enough value. I mean, there is plenty of value. I like that build. I mean,
we have another value play somewhere down here. I think. What was Roddy?
42. I know the Hawks eligibility is killing us here because it doesn't necessarily matter though because the late slate is 8. So
yeah,
like you could play. Not that I want it's 7:30 the Atlanta game. Like that's fine, dude. And you could play Schroeder at that shooting guard spot if you need, and then play like if Giddey or Kobe White if we didn't have Zach LaVine.
because the top price guy, we are excluding, Trey and Davis and Tatum here, which
I'd be okay. Or going up, we can go up from Zion to Sabonis.
bonus, go Schroeder back at the shooting guard spot.
Suggs at 58. Matherin, like if there's no Nembhard, Matherin's there.
We could do. I could do Matherin and then 48 util. It's probably get back to Jackson. Would you rather Jackson or Roddy?
I guess. I mean, that question's obviously.
All right, because we don't know about
Turner's out. So that question, Turner's out. I mean,
Roddy put Roddy in for now.
Yeah, Roddy's minutes have been super good.
I'm good with it. We got an extra 10-2 get us any of those guys here.
Tatum,
Trey.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we just don't have a center.
Well,
power forward. No, they have to fix the eligibility. It has not been the best.
I mean, that would actually just solve the problem if he was out.
Yes, that would solve the problem. We have 4 Atlanta. That's the only problem. We have 4 Atlanta.
That was perfectly the winning lineup yesterday.
It was. I mean, they don't have anybody.
They don't have anybody. So yeah, I don't know. This could be the line. Could be the lineup. Yeah. So we'll go back to Zion for now, just to get the lineup that we know, or Sabonis rather. Point guard, and we're going Alvarado here. With $600 left over. Alvarado, Schroeder, Hart, Johnson, Sabonis, Matherin, Riche, and Roddy. Example lineup for everybody. I believe Grande, you on the playbook?
You are.
Am I on the playbook?
Yep.
Who's on the playbook on Friday?
You.
Me. I'm on the playbook, so be on the lookout for that. Get us in Discord. Find us on Twitter. We'll be back live at 5 p.m. Eastern time to get you all ready for this slate. Until then, everybody, have a nice Friday, and we'll catch you later.